guys, welcome. It is a totally mixed bag of weather today. There was a peak of sun, then a little bit of drizzling, then a downpour, then slush, and now you can't see the sky or the mountains, and it is a steady rain. And it is going to be on and off like that, like this, for the next, I think, 10 days. And I think we're all just wanting the sun. We just want the sun to come out, so we can at least venture out one-on-one in the woods. It's easily to socially isolate here because we are a small town and we are only crowded when tourists come, and no tourists are coming. So it's quite quiet. That whole thing when you see on the news about staying 6 feet apart at the grocery store, that is not a problem here. You could yell to the other side of the store and maybe be able to talk to somebody. So during this period of time that we're in now, it's, totally doable, which is, I know, a blessing, an absolute blessing. What is not a blessing is it seems to be harder to find toilet paper here. But I'm not going there. We're so done with the toilet paper talk. Jiminy Christmas, you know? What can you do? What can you do? Having a little lifesaver. What I fear most is that you will now get a little bit of more understanding of what my brain is like in the beehive. You know, I always envy those people like my friend Dale who will she'll decide on what she's going to work on. It'll have a gazillion pieces because she only does quilts with a gazillion pieces. And she'll stick to that. Whereas for me, no, it's like a carnival going on all the time here. So I know there are those of you that really are looking forward to the t-shirt progression. That can't happen all at once. It's just not how my brain works. So when I come up here, I might work for an hour on the t-shirts, then I get bored and I move on to something else. So for those of you that are wanting to see the whole process of the t-shirts, you're only going to get it an appetizer at a time. That is, that's how we roll in the beehive. So to give you an example, okay, there's the t-shirt quilt. It is the only quilt that's going up on the design wall, which means that Tannenbaum is on the back burner until I get at least one of those t-shirt quilts done, because until it comes off the design wall, something can't go up on the design wall. I'm not one that's gonna be able to rotate it. And I know for many of you that might be a little bit irritating, but what can I say? So what I've started doing on the t-shirt quilt is, you know, there's no shopping going on except for mail order. And I am not a really good fabric mail order person for quilting fabric. And that's because, you know, color's so different when it's photographed, and texture is different. So I am doing these t-shirt quilts totally out of my stash. So trying to find fabric that is going to work together, that I have enough of to do a quilt, is where my challenge lies. It's not that I don't have a ton of fabric, but not a whole lot in giant chunks. Like, I might have to piece the back because I don't think I have, who knows, there might be some yardage in there, but most often I've got fat quarters and yard chunks and things like that. So what I decided was I went into my closet that is where my stash is, and I looked at fabric that I thought I might have enough of to do like sashing and border, that I wanted to attempt to at least get the top done, and then I will work on a backing after that. I could kick myself now because my friend Becky said, I think it was Becky that said, oh no. Becky said I should have saved the t-shirt and fabric. I should have saved the t-shirt fabric that was left over and cut it into squares for backup toilet paper. That was funny. But someone else said in the comments that she uses the leftover t-shirts as her backing, and I thought I could have done that. I could have sewn I could have cut out additional squares of plain t-shirt fabric, sewn them all together. It would have been one heavy, lots of seam laden backing, but that might have been an interesting option. So for those of you out there who haven't cut your t-shirts up, think about that. Also the toilet paper suggestion by Becky. Because, you know, t-shirts are soft. So I picked 2 pieces of fabric out. I found this chunk. Sorry for crunching. And it had dragonflies on it, and some of the bodies were just a little touch of orange red. And so I found this fabric, and this is like a burnt orange that I think I'm going to use for the border. Sashing, border. And what I'm trying to do now is, because I have so many squares of t-shirts, I'm trying to get them where they kind of line up and maybe make this a very plain styled of t-shirt quilt. The second one, though, is going to be more off-centered because it'll be all the different size leftover pieces. And so then okay, so this is what happens. True confession. I come up here to work on this, but then I see, and I had to take all the little stuff off of the design wall to put the t-shirt quilt on the design wall. So my Sue Spargo stuff had to come off, and this is one of my Sue Spargo projects. So I decided that one's going to be the next one to get done. And it should be not hard to get it done. I already have what I need to do here. So what I've been doing is that each flower, like here's a yellow and kind of a yellow down here, I've been making the stitching kind of the same. So this blue and the blue over there, the stitching that I do on one flower is the exact stitching I do on the other. So I don't have to do a lot of thinking, because that is where I stumble, is that if there's too many choices, it's kind of like being at the dessert buffet and being told you only can choose two. And there's like 20 choices. It it's almost debilitating. And so to make it easier on my brain, I decided whatever I choose to stitch on one color, the same color on the other side, I'm going to do the same stitching. And then I decided in this border here that I am putting writing, and I am going to write live, love, laugh in French. So does that make sense? And then I was going to put 2020 down here because I'm going to finish it in 2020. I am. I'm going to finish this in 2020. I started this a while ago. I don't even, thank goodness I don't have to put that date on. But I'm going to apologize right now for this video because it is as disjointed as my brain. So when I took this off the wall to put the t-shirt quilt up, I decided I needed to find an alphabet to use. And I was going to print it off the printer, but our printer doesn't let us resize things. So I said, I know that I have quilt books that have alphabet in them that I could use. So I went over to the bookcase and I sat down and started looking through books that I thought might have an alphabet in them. Well, that opens a whole nother can of worms, because then I get distracted again. So I did find my alphabet in this book. And in the meantime, when I took a break because I needed a drink and nourishment, and no, not an alcoholic drink, I saw on the news how the Eiffel Tower lit up to thank all of the first responders. And if you've ever been to Paris at night and you see the Eiffel Tower lit up, it is it's a moment. Let me just say, it's a moment. So when I saw the photograph with where they had on the Eiffel Tower written merci, thank you, in French, I said, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to have to put that down here, 2020. So I can have this piece as a not only encouragement to how I want to live my life, but to be grateful for what's in it. And so I got all excited about that. And you know, when I get all excited about something, everything else in my life drops. You know. So I found the alphabet. So that's, today I'm going to be fusing, because I fuse my wool pieces. I'm going to be fusing that down so I can continue stitching it. But while I was looking through that bookcase, and I was looking through patterns and lots of different quilt books that I thought might have lettering in them, I found this pattern. Yep. I thought I would be making a pillow for my cousin using a couple of those blocks, and you know which two blocks I'm talking about. But then I said, I should make a pillow. I should take the Bigfoot block Because if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll know that every so often I take a picture with Bigfoot in reference to my cousin, because he used to have long hair. Of course, now he's cut his hair. But that doesn't mean that it'll stay short forever, and it's not real short. But I thought how fun that would be on the second, because I have enough blocks for 2 quilts, but on the second t-shirt quilt that will be it won't be as neatly laid out or measured as this one. I could make that Bigfoot block and a tree block as a setting block in there. Isn't that great? This is Elizabeth Hartman pattern, by the way. Yeah, she's a Portland girl. So, so there I went. There the crow went off into that corner. But it didn't stop there. It did not stop there. As I was looking through my pile of books, I saw this book. Now this is another Oregon gal, Debbie Busby. And I love this book. And I've made, in fact, I made that bee pin cushion as a giveaway in my basket at last year's Quilters Affair. The teachers were all asked to put kind of like a basket together. But when I was looking inside this book, I had a moment. I had a moment. Well, you have to know that Debbie is just a very sweet person. But I had a moment where I said, oh my gosh, here we are, self-quarantined in this very difficult time. And I had flipped open to this page, Happy Home. And I saw those 2 little pillows. And one says, you plus me equals home. And the other says, this is our happy place. And I said to myself, Self, you should make these little pillow pincushions bowl fillers and make a bowl of them while you're under this shelter in place. I mean, look at these. If every 3 or 4 days I make one, I mean, the president did extend till the end of April so far. So I figure if I make 2 or 3 of these, I mean, one of these every 2 or 3 days, because they're not difficult. And I could have a bowl filled of these very meaningful, have a message about the time. And so I started yesterday. Just like that. Just like that I started. So first of all, I found that I had, when you're looking through your stuff, I found I had some yardage of Sandcastle. And Sandcastle, I haven't used it forever, but Sandcastle is a kind of a thick fabric that's already pre-quilted. I mean, and that's why I didn't even have to use the SF-101 on the back of this. I'll have to use the SF-101 on the back of the backing fabric to have it hold up to this. But this is already kind of a thick fabric that already has a quilted grid on it. So I knew that this is perfect for embroidery, and that's what I originally bought it for. And so I started embroidering. Now, the way I did this is, because if you don't use this, if you use regular cotton and a light table, it's going to be a piece of cake, because you can see the script and you can just trace it on with a micro Pigma pen. But because I wanted to use the sandcastle, which is a little bit, I mean, it's thicker and it's already quilted, what I did was I have a roll downstairs in the kitchen of press and seal. Press and seal is a a product that is like when you're cooking and you put the leftovers in a bowl and you don't have a Tupperware with a lid, you put that press and seal on the edge of the bowl and you rub your hand around it and it seals it. I mean, you could dump that bowl upside down and it's like a seal on there. But the best thing about it is that it's fairly clear and you can lay it over any script and then trace it with your Pigma pen and it sticks to your fabric. So this one here, if I peel it off, you know, see there's there it is right there, and then I just wipe it down and it sticks to the fabric with the script. So then I'm backstitching the embroidery right through the press and seal, right through it. And I'm using, on this particular one, because of the fabric I chose, I'm using a number 12 Valdani 0178. Very easy. And then you just needle through it. I'm just using, I think it's a 26 chenille needle, which is kind of my go-to wool needle. So because it's easy to thread. It's easy to thread the Valdani thread. Yeah. So I'm almost done with this one here. And so, you know, my day, that's what my day looks like. I am not real organized, and I will have all the high intentions of starting out working on a specific project, and then with good intention, mind you, I will come up here and say, okay, I'm going to work on the t-shirt quilt all day, and I actually only went half an hour and only could put that much sashing up before I got bored. It is, I know I must have, I probably didn't drive my parents crazy because they were both the same way. I mean, my dad totally recognized my behavior. Hence, I went to an all-girls school. But, yeah, my sister got to go to public school. She was a good girl. Yeah, she was a good girl. I was a good girl, too, but I just wanted to have some fun. And my dad recognized that. So, and my mom also. My mom was really smart, but she also was all over the board, doing things, going places. I mean, later in life, when she and I traveled, we traveled quite a bit together. She really enjoyed that time with me because I think she saw herself, you know, where before she was like, oh my God, what is she up to? But when I was older and we traveled together, boy, we were peas in a pod. which was quite fun. It was quite fun. It was always, every day was an adventure if we were on the road. I have just this E to do, and then I will show you what happens next, so that if you want to do this same project for yourself, this book is filled with bowl fillers. I mean, just filled with them. And I think it will be fun at the end of the day, when we are post-virus, to have all these little bowl filler pillows that have positive things to say about life. And you really could just, if you saw something else, you could put people's names on them, and just all kinds of things would be fun. But see, I started this just from looking for an alphabet for that project, the Sue Spargo project. Then I ended up with the Bigfoot for that. Oh, yeah. It does get interesting in this brain. Someone said I lost my thread. Someone said they wish they could be in my brain for a day. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But when I was reading through the comments, and I do read all of the comments, sometimes I get behind on acknowledging them, but I do read every single one. And I had to laugh because there was a comment by Jillian who was talking about her wrist surgery, and how when the bandage, right now nobody wants you to come in, but she had to go in to get the sutures out. And when she saw how absolutely beautiful the stitches were, she thought her doctor should have been a stitcher. And it reminded me, which I shared with my friends the other day, that one time when I was scrubbed in the OR, I was telling the surgeon his stitching was so pretty. I told him, you should really take up tatting. You'd be great at tatting. It's a lost art. We need more people to do those lost art things. And he laughed, but it was true. He should have been he could have been he could have been a stitcher. Almost ready. And the other thing that is distracting me right now is the surgical caps for my daughter-in-law and her friends up in Portland. She's an ER nurse. So I'm, trying to do, she said she really would like to have those, to kind of keep their hair out of their way. They don't touch their face, to stay clean, It's, oh boy, it's pouring. So I found this pattern, and it is, let's see, it's the ponytail holder bouffant style hat pattern by Angie Hebertson, and I found it on Etsy. I Googled, what I did was I Googled surgical hats, and then it sent me to her Etsy site, and I bought the pattern and as a download, printed it off, and then made one and sent it off to for her to see if that was going to work or not. but I decided that rather than wait, I'm going to go ahead and start making more. And but it's challenging, because you're a quilter doesn't mean you're a seamstress. It's two totally different mindsets. And the instructions, I was practically in tears when I was making it because I didn't understand and you're cutting up fairly large chunks of fabric. So I had to go in my stash again and look for larger chunks of fabric. And so I am now working on the next one. It's this piece right here. It's an Asian piece with writing all over it. And I made my pattern piece after I printed it out. I made my pattern piece. And I'm waiting for, I ordered online because I didn't have any, I didn't have enough like ribbon or elastic or anything to do this with. And I could make my own, piping or I guess that's what you call that. But that just takes more time. And then I found a couple of packs of that. It's like a seam lining. White. I don't even know what it's called. But it's it's already made and folded over. I think you use it in clothing construction. Well, I found a couple packs of that, and I thought, oh, this is they're going to work, and it's fast because it's already folded over and made. So I have a couple more packs of that, and then I ordered a roll of kind of a off-white color to use on the next ones. So that should be coming in the mail, and then I'll really be able to make a bunch of them. I still haven't figured out, people are saying that they're making masks with vacuum cleaner filters, but is that something that the hospital would allow? And I'm using a mask pattern that was printed by the local hospital, and they said to leave a 3-inch seam so that a filter could be put in it. So then I wondered, okay, so do they have the filters, and so you just need to make them and then they can put new filters in and out of them? So that's something I didn't have an answer to, but I sent it to my daughter-in-law, and with that instruction per our hospital, and see if that's going to work for her. Okay, so here we go. This one is not stitched yet. It's ready to stitch. This one is done stitching. So I've stitched right through the press and seal in the fabric. There's the back. Now I'm going to take the press and seal off. And you're just going to gently pull it off. I've done this before, so I know that it works good. And I am, my penmanship, sometimes you like the way the designer has written things, and you want to use their script. So you see, I have most of it off, but the stuff in between, and I have all my little tools here. And I'm just going to, with some tweezers, pick this stuff off, and it just kind of comes right off. This is going to be so cute. So in the next video, I shall show you what's gone on with the t-shirt quilt, what's the next, how far I get with the sashing, and I'm going to continue making the surgical caps and the masks and get those in the mail. I have strict instructions from my older son, so we are not leaving the house once a week. I'm leaving the house to do any grocery shopping we need, and I'm lucky because our little town, the stores are never crowded, and to pick up the mail. Otherwise, G's not allowed to leave the house. So he's the totally indoor person. I am the outdoor person. So I am going to be making myself a little shopping mask before I go out next time. And there are a gazillion. I will not spend time demoing the making of a mask because there are a gazillion wonderful video instructions, tutorials on how to do that. Oh, this is coming off really good. Boy, that press and seal really sticks your fingers though. I wonder if you can hear that rain. Today will not be a day for a walk. I hope it's all that you all are keeping busy. I know that Joan commented how her her kids want her to make a, sewing masks and a vest and all that, and that she also was finds it challenging. Just because you're a quilter does not mean, true, there are some that do. My friend Robin, she makes a lot of her own clothes. If she wants a vest or something and, can't find what she wants, she just whips the cutest things out of her fabric. And I wish I could do that. It's just, I don't know. Even bags, I find challenging. Making bags are challenging. Almost got it all off. I'm just picking out, don't want to pick my stitches out, but I'm just pulling the little bits of press and seal that are under my stitches and wanting to get those out. Boy, this stuff is sticky. Yeah, what did I see on Facebook that we're about, I guess now we're about a week away from everybody's real color. I am glad that I've not I'm not down that road, but I am feeling you know how you have that need, you just want to have your hair cut. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Thank goodness for G. I've cut his hair since we got married. I mean, my girlfriend, my college roommate Terry, in many reinventions of her life, she was always brave that way. One of the things she did after we got out of college was she also went to learn to cut hair. And she actually taught me how to cut Greg's hair when we were first married. And I have, because of her, I have cut his hair his entire life. So he's not suffering at all. He sleeps with his barber. So, but the best thing about it now is that since he retired, he doesn't even want it cut like, you know, like you'd have your hair cut. He just wants it buzzed off, and so that makes it easy for me. I just get the clippers out. It's like trimming a dog, you know. So, yeah. But Terry saved us a lot of money. Almost done. So there's all these fun, I know that you have all kinds of little fun projects in your sewing room that you could be doing too that you forgot about. But if you want to do one that I forgot about, you can join me in this bowl filler journey. Let's see, did I get it all? Yeah, I think I got it all. Oh, there's a little piece there. You and me equals home. So I'm going to make that into a nice little bowl pillow, and I'll show it to you the next time we get together. Stay safe, stay inside. Let's flatten the curve and keep stitching, and I'll see you the next time.
Thanks for watching.
And be sure to like and subscribe on Quilt Roadies.